Tonight on the Northwestern News Report,
a lot of us weren't very surprised, but we were all very hurt.
Northwestern's Native American and Indigenous Student Alliance taking a stand after the rock vandalized.
Plus, why Northwestern student activists protested during Saturday's football game, what they're demanding, and what the university is saying.
We are ordering much more heavily.
The international supply shortage hits Evanston, what that means for your local favorites.
And more than a job, we take a ride along with Evanston's firefighters.
Those stories and more tonight on the Northwestern News Report.
It's your news right now. Good evening and welcome to the Northwestern News Report. I'm Diego Ramos Bechara.
And I'm Jenny Ha. Over the weekend, the Rock vandalized with anti-indigenous statements. Kayla Nichols is live at the Rock tonight with this story.
Thanks, Jenny. NASA members woke up on Sunday to find their celebration of Native American Heritage Month painted over. And now they're calling on NU leaders to take more action toward making a more welcoming community for Indigenous students.
Indigenous Student Alliance, or NASA, painted the Rock in celebration of Native American Heritage Month, but over the weekend, their message painted over with anti-indigenous statements. NASA member Caden Mills saying,
A lot of us weren't very surprised, but we were all very hurt.
In response, NASA calling a gathering at the Rock Sunday to read a statement and speak out.
Our hope was to bring awareness to issues including missing and murdered Indigenous women/girls and Two-Spirit relatives and the ongoing harm of U.S. Indian boarding/residential schools.
A crowd gathering to show support for NU's Indigenous community. NASA deciding not to repaint the Rock.
Pointing at it and saying, this is Northwestern community that's doing this and who feels this way.
NASA now requesting a meeting with campus leadership.
The provost, vice provost, possibly even the president.
In a Monday night statement, Northwestern leadership said, quote, the university is unequivocal in support of its Indigenous community and condemns the messages painted over the tribute, adding, we support NASA's decision to leave the Rock unchanged today with an additional banner as an opportunity for awareness and education. The interim dean of students telling NNN she will review any available footage to identify those who spray painted the racist language at the Rock. On Tuesday, those statements were painted over by the university. But Mills says NU can do more to address these issues.
We need people standing with us. We need people having our backs.
NASA also left a banner that says, quote, and yet we are still here. And today students have been leaving messages of solidarity along the bench. We'll keep you updated on this story. For NNN, I'm Kayla Nichols. Back to you, Jenny.
Thanks, Kayla.
Student activist organizations rushing the football field at the game this weekend with banners displaying their demands for the university during Saturday's football game. NNN's Elisabeth Betts has more.
We spoke with an NU Community Not Cops representative who agreed to speak on the condition of anonymity for fear of university retaliation.
Marches were great, but we needed to escalate because the school was getting used to them.
Crowd reactions mixed as protesters stood in the middle of the field for about 3 minutes.
Iowa fans were yelling. They were saying a lot of slurs, which is crazy. Football players were yelling as well.
An Iowa fan ran through their banners, appearing to give the protesters the middle finger. Second-year Leandra Hawkins said her parents seemed confused and surprised.
My parents, they felt immediately that I was going to be a target because we were in the Iowa section and I was one of the only black people, me and my father were. So my mom said, we're going to go now. We're not going to be a part of this.
After those 521 days, NU Community Not Cops updating their demands.
We're like almost a year and a half out now. We thought that debuting our updated demands needed a big stage.
But NUCNC says their main goal has not changed.
Even though we have an updated demands list and there's more things on our list, abolishing NUPD is still the T. I don't want people to get it twisted.
According to an email just sent by the university protects freedom of speech and the freedom to peacefully protest. However, there are policies designed so that these demonstrations are safe for the entire Northwestern community. In regards to the Northwestern versus Iowa game where students demonstrated, the email states, quote, "This represents a violation of our demonstration policy and will require the university to move promptly to end any such disruptions and hold individuals accountable. Ramifications can potentially involve suspension, expulsion, or legal consequences as appropriate." Back to you.
Thanks, Elisabeth. Jenny?
Thanks, Diego. Congresswoman Jan Schakowsky, who represents Illinois' 9th District, joined NU College Democrats for a Q&A event last night. Schakowsky is a member of the House Progressive Caucus, which pushed for the bipartisan infrastructure bill to pass only after the Build Back Better Act was ready for a vote. Ultimately, Schakowsky voted in favor of the infrastructure bill, which passed on Friday. This comes days after Democrat Terry McAuliffe lost a Virginia gubernatorial race. During the event, Schakowsky was asked about McAuliffe's loss and said, quote, "I don't think Terry was a very inspiring candidate." Here's what she had to say when asked if not passing the bipartisan infrastructure bill before the elections impacted results.
I mean, that's certainly some of the pundits who are saying that, trying to nationalize this whole election for Terry McAuliffe. If it played a role, I think it was a minor role in his election loss.
NNN's full interview with Schakowsky will air on our social media later this week.
Northwestern University sent delegates to Glasgow, Scotland, for the 26th United Nations Climate Change Conference of the Parties, or COP26. Graduate students and faculty joining world leaders to address the growing threat of climate change. Northwestern's delegates are from students in the Pritzker School of Law and the McCormick School of Engineering. The conference began last week and continues until Friday.
The ongoing pandemic adding complexities for Northwestern's international students. Heading into December, employment timelines present a unique challenge for winter graduates. NNN's David DiNicola has more.
We know that between Thanksgiving and the first of the year, not a lot goes on in the recruiting world.
Mark Presnell leads Northwestern Career Advancement. He says that the pandemic has further complicated the already complex logistical considerations of international students seeking work authorization in the U.S.
For international students, they already have a layer on it, right? So this is a layer on top of a layer in terms of deciding where you want to work, when you want to work.
To start a job after graduation, many international students must apply for a work authorization permit, sometimes a 4-month process.
I think it's the mental toll that something like this takes, the uncertainty and then the forced waiting.
Udit Sinha is a Medill Masters candidate expecting to graduate in early December. He hasn't been home to Dubai for over a year.
If you leave the country before your employee authorization kicks in, you have forfeited your visa extension. So once you leave the country without your employee authorization, you can't come back.
OISS Director Geet Vinayak tells NNN everyone has a role in international employment advocacy. It can be as simple as networking or using alumni data.
We're pretty proactive at Northwestern, and our data says that we've been pretty successful.
Sinha notes, however, that impacts extend beyond employment.
It's important to me to feel part of a community, and it's very difficult when you know that there's an expiration date on the time that you have here in this country.
David DiNicola, Northwestern News Network.
To help with placements, international students can reach out to their assigned OISS advisors.
If you haven't received a package you ordered weeks ago, you're not alone. Supply chain issues across the country have caused shortages for many businesses right here in Evanston. NNN's Melina Halkia has the story.
During national supply chain disruptions, Evanston businesses have faced shortages all the way from food products to packaging materials. Owner of La Cocinita restaurant, Benoit Angulo, knows this too well.
There was, a period of time where it was hard to find chicken. One of those things that we've never really had an issue with. A lot of the paper goods.
For Angulo, some products took 2 weeks to get delivered instead of the normal 3 to 4 days. He said the biggest challenge was with packaging materials, and other businesses are having the same problem.
The bigger issues for us have been packaging and things of that nature, to-go boxes, the things that we use for carry-out and delivery.
Supply chain experts in the Chicago area are seeing how nationwide packing issues ripple down to our region.
There's probably going to be, it sounds weird, a box shortage coming up. We've seen it with packaging on restaurants.
But these problems are not limited to only restaurants. Owner of Bookends and Beginnings, Nina Barrett, says in the book world, there are issues all along the supply chain.
There are issues with printing, there are issues with paper supply.
But things are starting to look better for local businesses who are adjusting by buying more stock.
We are ordering much more heavily.
We buy it in larger quantities.
Barrett advises people to start buying products now ahead of the holiday season. For NNN, I'm Melina Halkia.
Although the holidays usually mean an increase in demand, Evanston business owners say they are optimistic they'll be able to handle it.
Coming up, how a Chicago organization is helping unhoused veterans.
Plus, a startup inspiring sisterhood. We introduce you to students embracing hair care and self-care for Black women. We'll be right back.
At Northwestern, we're wildcats in every way.
Northwestern, break right through that. With our colors flying, we will cheer you all to go. Go you Northwestern, fight for victory, sweet victory, for the fame of our fair name, and go Northwestern, win that game. Go Cats!
Welcome back. Veterans Day is this Thursday. Though Americans honor veterans annually, right now over 400 veterans are experiencing homelessness in Chicago alone. NNN's Lily Wolfson has more.
Inner Voice Chicago supports veterans experiencing homelessness through the Eddie Beard Veterans Transitional Housing Program. While Illinois state agencies cannot give aid to veterans with a dishonorable discharge, Inner Voice houses veterans regardless of discharge status.
Making sure that the veterans are equipped with the steps to be able to access housing.
Halbert Williams oversees the program and says most veterans aren't told about available services.
We try to work on centralizing that information and make it more comprehensive.
Veteran Donald Goodwin served for 4 years in California and has experienced homelessness for several.
There should be more programs and more places for veterans to network, to find out what these programs are so we can get help, get off the streets.
Veteran Henry Jefferson was dishonorably discharged for doing drugs, but believes that should not impact the services he receives.
To me, it was minor, but they put me out for it. I want to be that voice for those people that got the OTH, that served the military.
Williams is helping the 26 veterans at the Eddie Beard House connect with housing providers. He hopes veterans return to home means a home to live in.
It's unfortunate that our veterans have to fight abroad and then come back and have to fight at home.
Chicagoans can support veterans experiencing homelessness by visiting Inner Voice's Facebook page to make a donation or find a time to volunteer. Lily Wolfson, Northwestern News Network.
Thanks, Lily. And good news, veteran Henry Jefferson actually moved out of the Eddie Beard House to his own place this past Friday, just days after the NNN interview.
That's great news. Shifting gears, a collective of Evanston artists have set out to explore the definition of racial justice. The Noise Art Cultural Center recently unveiled its new exhibit entitled, quote, "What is Racial Justice?" The gallery features 25 Evanston artists ages 16 to 70. They come from different backgrounds, but they all work to define what racial justice means to them. Fran Joy, the organizer of the exhibit, says art is a powerful advocacy tool.
It addresses trauma, it addresses PTSD, it addresses the nature of the world today because this is a really difficult racial climate.
The Noyes Cultural Arts Center's second-floor gallery will remain open to the public until December 1st.
Back on campus, a Northwestern senior is running a new startup for Black women to learn how to take care of their hair. NNN's Bridget Aduwadie reports.
A McCormick fourth year's startup, Coiled, launched in July, teaches Black women about their hair and how to take care of it via Black women around the world sharing experiences.
Coiled is a joy-filled sisterhood, embracing freedom and our truer selves through curly hair care.
Ayin Abegunde, founder of Coiled, an international student from Nigeria, says caring for her hair during her first year was challenging.
I didn't know what I was doing. I didn't know what products to get, how to care for my hair. I began to find out that there was a lot of science behind our hair.
Through Instagram posts, stories, and other educational materials, Coiled gives guidance on everything from different hairstyles to what type of comb to use. With friends from the UK, Abegunde runs Coiled to combat systemic obstacles with Black hair care, such as the lack of information and workplace discrimination.
You get people making comments about your hair saying, did you comb it? And you're just thinking, this is my hair in its natural state.
We're fostering a community where we can all learn from each other.
Bigger plans for Coiled ahead.
We have the book coming up.
It's going to teach you about confidence and how loving your hair, loving the process.
Turning hair care into self-care, a joyful experience for Black women on campus and beyond.
Happiness, I think, is a sentiment that is needed in the Black community.
Bridget Aduwadie, Northwestern News Network.
At the end of this year, Coiled will also include a book that explains the science of Black hair.
Up next, Northwestern sophomores finally dashing through their last Wildcat Welcome tradition. We'll be right back.
Here is my handle and here is my spout.
When I get all steamed up, then I shout.
Tip me over and pour me out. Oh. The smallest moments can have the biggest impact on a child's life. Cheers. Take time to be a dad today.
Oh, look, a redhead. Staring contest. You still got it. I know.
Come alive with the forest.
The dad was cute.
You were looking right at us.
Visit discovertheforest.org to find a forest near you.
A boy born in Joplin, Missouri was fascinated by anything with wheels and a motor. The odds of him winning both the Daytona 500 and the Brickyard 400 in the same year, 1 in 195 million. The odds of a child being diagnosed with autism, 1 in 68. I'm Jamie McMurray, and my niece has autism. Learn more at autismspeaks.org/signs.
Wow, these are really good.
You act surprised. Practice makes perfect.
You don't have to be perfect to be a perfect parent. There are thousands of teens in foster care who don't need perfection. They need you.
With Halloween behind us, NNN's Logan Scajano takes a look at a creative way Evanstonians discard their pumpkins, along with other composting endeavors in the area.
Compost initiatives converge in Evanston this weekend. The 5th annual Great Pumpkin Compost was Saturday outside the town's Civic Center, a chance for residents to scare their spooky pumpkin decorations away from the landfill.
Food scraps is just another one of those waste streams.
And here at the event, organizers tell me they compost anywhere from 3 to 5 tons worth of pumpkins every year.
I wanted to do something with compost.
Also this weekend, the kickoff of Cookies for Compost.
In exchange for dropping off their compost, each Saturday families get insomnia cookies.
The initiative is aimed at boosting community involvement in compost in a fun and affordable way.
Composting is something that can be really inaccessible just because either people can't afford it because sometimes drop-off services can be very expensive.
It's something that Evanston's Arlene Howard has been working on since 2009 when she founded Collective Resource Compost.
Initially, it was my Wednesday afternoon project.
But now,
we just had our milestone of 8,000 tons.
The woman-owned compost provider now serves over 900 residents and businesses in the Chicagoland area.
They don't have to deal with any of the maintenance.
Many different initiatives, all with the same goal.
Composting is not as yucky as climate change.
Keeping the food scraps out while getting others to buy in. Logan Schijano, Northwestern News Network.
Thanks, Logan. Jenny?
Well, this past Friday, students rolled into the weekend as a section of Norris was turned into a roller rink. NU Knights worked with the company Record a Hit to transform the Lewis Room into a lively skating rink, complete with disco lights and all your favorite songs. The Knights' goal to create several free, inclusive, and substance-free events on Friday nights for Northwestern undergrads.
We had 2 events in the past. We went to Six Flags Fright Fest, and we saw the movie Dear Evan Hansen. Look forward to next quarter, where we plan on going to see musicals. We'll be helping out with the Winter Carnival at Norris, and we normally have a Valentine's Day Hearts and Craft event that people can go to.
For more information, stay tuned to NU Knights Instagram at NU_Knights. Lots of fun there. Well, we've all seen our beloved mascot, Willie the Wildcat, around campus and at sports games, but we rarely hear about the people behind all of the action. Yesterday, the Spirit Squad held tryouts to see who will become the next Willie. Here's Olatunji Osho Williams.
We've all seen him. We all love him. But who is he?
How would you describe Willie, right? He's like a confident, proud cat.
The crew behind the cat, the Northwestern Spirit Squad.
I'm at Welsh Ryan Arena, where Spirit Squad hopefuls are trying out to become Willie the Wildcat.
I thought it would be more exercises than almost kind of like improv games.
Though the tryout location changed from the Treenan Center to Welsh Ryan Arena, enthusiasm went nowhere.
Parachute. Oh!
Hopeful contenders had to be willing to go the extra mile with their Willy Walk and improv.
It was more actually Mascot vibes. It was they give scenarios about how, what would you do in this scenario, and yeah, so it was cool to kind of just practice being a mascot.
But being Willy is not all fun and games. Members of the Spirit Squad are considered student athletes and practice for 6 hours a week.
For sure, I had to travel to away football games, so every time we play, our football team plays away, our mascot and our cheer team go, so I've been on 2 charter flights. I went to Nebraska, I went to Michigan.
The cat's out of the costume. Olatunji Osho Williams, Northwestern News Network.
Willie and the Spirit Squad will be at all home basketball games this upcoming quarter.
The sophomore class finally given their chance to dash. It happened last Saturday at Northwestern's final football game at Ryan Field for the year. This tradition, named Wildcat Dash, is typically reserved for the freshman class as a part of Wildcat Welcome programming, which didn't happen in person for the class of 2024 because of the pandemic.
I'm a transfer student, so to be able to do this sophomore dash with a new group of people in a new class who also came from a different place last year is really special and unifying, and it's definitely a welcome experience for me.
Approximately 300 sophomore students, me included, participated in the dash, kicking off the start to a very energetic football game.
And this past weekend, Northwestern welcomed parents, relatives, and friends for Family Weekend 2021. NNN's Maria Heim has the details.
After a COVID hiatus, Family Weekend returns to Evanston this fall as relatives explore campus and Northwestern.
It's been fantastic. We didn't get to come out last year at all because of COVID.
The majority of families visited their first-year Wildcats. However,
because the class of 2024 didn't get a family weekend last year, we're expecting a lot of class of 2024 parents.
One of the main events the Northwestern Iowa football game.
I haven't been to a college football game, I think, maybe since I was in college at UNC Chapel Hill.
Siblings also tagging along.
It's really sad. Like, I know she's having a lot of fun, but I miss her at home.
It's so awesome, so much purple everywhere.
Senior Olivia Braun has helped coordinate Family Weekend for the past 4 years and loves
the anticipation of knowing that you're doing something that people really appreciate.
Parents reflecting on how their lives have changed since they waved goodbye in September.
My house is really quiet. She seems like she's making friends and having a good time, enjoying school, so that makes it okay.
Families happy to see their Wildcats thriving.
It's been really nice seeing our daughter just in her element with her people, having fun.
From all of us here at NNN, we hope you've had a great time showing your loved ones around campus this Family Weekend. With my dad behind the camera, Maria Heim, Northwestern News Network.
Thanks, Maria. The Office of Family Engagement is already starting to plan for next year's Family Weekend. Diego, I know both our parents weren't on campus, but I did actually get to meet some of my friends' parents, which was really fun. What did you do?
Yeah, so did I. My roommate brought over his parents, and so we spent the entire weekend practically together. Had some dinner, had some breakfast, had a great time sharing some time with them, so it was pretty fun.
Good.
Rata. Parents visited for the weekend for some family time, meaning delicious brunches, campus tours, and tailgating.
So we asked NU students what they enjoyed the most from this family visit. Here's NNN's Emiliana Betancourt.
Hi, I'm Emiliana Betancourt for Rock Talk, and since Parents Weekend is coming to an end, we're going to be asking students about their favorite things to do while they were here.
Rata.
All right, so your parents came over for the weekend.
Yes.
What was your favorite thing to do when they were here? Like, what you do?
We went to the Art Institute in Chicago, and that was a lot of fun.
That's really cool.
My favorite thing with my parents was just to walk around campus and show them my study spots and hang out and just show them what I do around campus.
Tailgating with my parents. We tailgated at the golf course right next to the field.
Show them around campus and show them where Beanon is.
Just taking them to a tailgate and going to the game.
Go out to lunch with them.
And we're going to be asking parents about any cute or embarrassing stories they have about their children.
I think she was 2 or 3 years old. Her and her older sister decided to play hairdresser, and her sister Olivia gave her a nice mohawk haircut, and we had to live through it.
It was unsalvageable.
Well, Molly was very precocious, and her older brother was in a show. They didn't allow kids Molly's age to be in the show because they're too young, but they let her in because she was so durable. So they gave her a single line, and it's her time, and all of a sudden, they're playing, the music stops, she's and she stands there, and she just drops her line, she didn't say it. Everybody's waiting for her. She's the smallest, shortest kid, and everybody's looking at her. And then they keep going, and she just runs off the stage crying. My son runs after her, in the middle of the show.
Rata. Coming up, blazing through a day in the life of Evanston firefighters.
And students lifting up weights and each other.
If you want to be a parent, it doesn't matter how you play, what you wear, how you dance, or even what direction life takes you. You just need to be there. You don't have to be perfect to be a perfect parent. Thousands of teens in foster care don't need perfection. They just need you.
Every day across America, excess food is gathered by a network of good people at local food banks, giving hope to millions of children who struggle with hunger. They've earned their wings, and you can too. Together, we can solve child hunger. Support Feeding America and your local food bank at feedingamerica.org.
Cook foods to the right temperature using a food thermometer. 3,000 Americans will die from food poisoning this year. Keep your family safer. Check your steps at foodsafety.gov.
People dressed in costume lifting weights. If you saw that last weekend at the Henry Crown Sports Pavilion, it wasn't fever dream. NNN's Matthew Vega looks into Northwestern's revamped powerlifting club.
On Halloween of this year, students dressed as characters from Naruto, Mortal Kombat, and other pop culture franchises walked into SPAC with one goal: lift as much weight as possible.
And I thought it'd be like really funny and like really cool for like to see people like just like, you know, trying their best, you know, wearing like funny costumes or something.
This event was thrown by the Northwestern Powerlifting Club, one of the school's newest and fastest growing clubs on campus.
Like if you want to like play soccer, you need like a bunch of guys, you know, you need some gear. But powerlifting, you hop in the gym and now you're lifting and like you can do it like all by yourself.
The club has existed for years, but only recently has it started seeing major gains in members.
Up. Come on. Nice.
The resurgence started from a Reddit thread asking Northwestern students if there was any interest in a powerlifting club. The result? A resounding yes.
I was pretty interested in it, but I was kind of hesitant at first. I didn't think that, you know, people would want to do something like that, but so far the reaction has been really positive. So.
Members focus on the 3 traditional powerlifting lifts: squats, bench press, and deadlifts. Some members of the club can lift almost 3 times their own body weight.
We have some like super experienced guys too. We have like a senior who's been probably like lifting for like 5-6 years. And we have people who like started like, I don't know, like last week.
Though it looks challenging, the club welcomes new members and encourages anyone willing to put in the hours.
I've really enjoyed meeting those type of people that have the same kind of commitment and drive that, you know, Said and I also share in the sport.
Growing in strength and in friendship, I'm Matthew Vega for NNN.
If you have any interest in joining the club, you can reach out to them on Instagram at NU_powerlifting.
A beautiful scene this afternoon on South Campus. Just look at those leaves. Let's welcome Bridget Adouadier with this week's weather.
Thank you, Diego. This is Bridget Adouadier, and I'm giving you your weekly campus forecast. I hope everyone enjoyed the clear sunny skies today and yesterday, because unfortunately they are not here to stay. Going into tomorrow, there will be cloudy weather with rainy showers as well. Going into Thursday and throughout the rest of the week, the rainy showers will continue and the weather will continue to drop in temperature, with a high for Thursday at 58 degrees and a low for 38 degrees. For Friday and the rest of the weekend, expect to see more chilly weather as we go into the winter season, with the temperature ranging from 40 to 30 degrees. I hope everyone prepares for the rainy showers and brings an umbrella, stays dry, and stays warm. Thank you.
Thanks, Bridget.
A year and a half since life as he knew it changed, and for first responders, the job was already weighty. How are they holding up? Megan Leibowitz rode with Evanston's firefighters to see what a day in the life looks like.
Evanston's firefighters keep busy. One afternoon, 3 back-to-back calls, but still...
It's the best job in the world, with the best people in the world.
I spent the evening with Station 1, the station that is responsible for responding to most of the calls from Northwestern and the surrounding area.
We are right here.
An emergency starts with an alert at the station, and then firefighters have mere seconds to strap in and speed away. A large chunk of their calls, medical emergencies and false fire alarms.
We're there for fire, but we can't just be here for fire.
In the evening, a family dinner, since shifts are 24 hours.
Everyone's happy, everyone's merry, everyone's joking around, and you really start to break some of those, maybe some of those hard-shelled people down and really start to get to know some people.
That is, if time permits.
This station, it's hard to make anything.
For second-generation firefighter Nicholas Vanek, it's about family.
You get to kind of get like a second family. The major factor in my decision to become a firefighter and paramedic was just watching my dad. You always want to treat every patient like they're your family member.
Treating others like family.
Fire department!
And gaining a second family of their own. Megan Leibowitz, Northwestern News Network.
Firefighters say some of the most common calls they get from Northwestern are related to false fire alarms and alcohol.
Well, that's all the time we have for tonight. I'm Diego Ramos Bechara.
And I'm Jenny Huh. Stay tuned for our quarterly special show coming up November 30th. The topic, Evanston Beyond Northwestern. Thanks for watching.